What's going on, everybody? It's Brandon here from South Fork Baits, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Now, with it being August and kind of late summertime for bass fishing, today we're going to be going over my personal favorite top 5 baits that we make here at South Fork Baits. We're going to give you guys the most success here in the late summer when fish are the most lethargic. They want to stick to the bottom. They don't want to eat huge stuff. So today we're going to be diving into my favorite lures to catch them this time of year. Now, with late summer bass fishing does come some of the hardest times of the year to try to pull them out of there, because like I said earlier, the water is hot, they are lethargic. So before we even get into this list, the best time to go fishing this time of the year is when the sun is not out yet. Get out there early, get out there late. That's when they're going to be cruising the shallows, because if not, we're going to be fishing deep, and that's what we're going to get into today. So here's 5 baits from South Fork Baits that are going to give you guys some success in the late summer. All right, so our first bait that we're going to be showing off here, and probably the best finesse option for all you finesse fishermen out there, is our 2.75-inch Ned rig. Very, very basic bait. Rig this thing on a 1/8 ounce Ned rig that you can buy at southforkbaits.com. Put it together, fish it on the rocks. This thing is absolutely perfect for really pressured fish. If you're trying to tone down that presentation, you don't want a bunch of flailing limbs everywhere. This just gets straight to the point. It looks just like a craw or something hopping along the bottom, and you'd be amazed how much these things get bit, judging by how they look in the water, because all they do is bounce around. There's no claws or legs flailing around everywhere. But sometimes that is all you need to get a bite out of a really pressured fish, is something small, something that they know they can just eat real quick, and it's not going to take them a bunch of time or energy. All right, now our next lure on the list here is the 2.8-inch Torpedo Swimbait from South Fork Baits. And the one that I'm showing off here today is in Shiny Shad, which is my personal favorite color for any kind of swim bait. I think it perfectly mimics any kind of glass minnow or shad or anything like that. And with this being a swim bait, this will pretty much catch anything that swims. I've gone to rivers and spillways, had smallmouth, white bass, hybrids, everything will eat these right here. So if you wanted to get a little bit more than just some largemouth, toss these guys on. You can use the same Ned rig head as the last bait actually, 1/8 ounce. Throw this thing against the current, the tail will move the entire time, and trust me, this thing will get bit. All right, now moving on to the first lure that we actually ever made here at South Fork Baits, and my personal favorite for bass fishing. We got the 5-inch trick stick, absolutely time-tested classic. There's multiple ways to throw these things, but my personal favorite in the late summer is taking the weight of a Texas rig, right? You like to keep it on the bottom. It's always good when you can do that, but you also like the style of the wacky. So what I'll do is I'll actually use the exact same Ned rig head that can work on the previous 2 baits and rig this bait wacky style, because it gives it just a little bit extra wobble on the fall. It gets it down to the bottom quicker, and it's a very, very good way of adding just a little bit more to a classic wacky rig. But in the late summer, and even just all throughout the year, throwing these on a Texas rig as well is another fantastic option. It makes the worm sit a lot more upright. It keeps it weedless as well, which, like I said earlier, if the fish are not up shallow in the morning or at night, they're going to be hiding in the weeds in deep water. And with this right here, throwing you on a 3/8 ounce bullet weight, 4/0 extra wide gap worm hook, available at southforkbaits.com. You can get the full setup for your trick stick today. All right, next up, and the last soft plastic on our list, but the biggest one as well, is going to be our 6-inch Noodle Worm. Now, if you guys like to fish Nico or drop shot or throw it on a Texas rig, this is the bait for you, especially if you're fishing in deep water, because this bait is so thin and streamlined, and it has this little paddle tail that it cuts through water very, very fast. If you're fishing on a 3/8 ounce weight with that 4/0 extra wide gap hook, same stuff we can use for that trick stick. This thing can get down to the bottom incredibly quick, and it has the perfect amount of action. There's very little plastic stopping this thing from just going crazy in the water as it falls down, and it's so thin, so it's constantly moving. And you'd be surprised, fish love giant worms. Even if these are only a 6-inch one, I've seen people pull fish out of there with 20-inch ribbon tails. So 6-inch version, a little bit more realistic. These things are amazing, 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 especially when you're trying to cut through some weeds, because there's nothing that's going to get caught on this thing the whole time you're fishing it. All right, and last but certainly not least, we do have our 3/8 ounce Flippin Jig. Now this one is in Purple Void. This is one of my favorite murky watercolors actually, because that black just pops. Same with the purple, it absolutely just pops against that like chocolate milk background. But if the fish are always sitting on the bottom and clinging to structure, a jig is the absolute thing that's gonna pull them out of there. The flipping jig is pretty much specifically made to flip cover. It's made to cut through weeds. It's made to not get snagged up on rocks. It's meant to be flipping cover, trying to find fish that are hiding because it is so hot out. And a great thing about this lure as well is pretty much every jig you want to fish it with a trailer. You can use that Ned rig or the Torpedo Swimbait on the back of this thing to make it look even better down in the water. Alrighty guys, so that's going to bring us to the end of our video today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And if you want to get any of the lures that I showed off in today's video, make sure you go to southforkbaits.com, first link in the description, and check them out. I hand pour and hand make all the lures myself, so if you have any questions on how to fish them, what kind of colors you should use for your water, definitely leave a comment and let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.